Fix your finances. That's what we're going to be talking about today, how to fix your finances. And this is going to be the no excuses guide to get out of debt, to build your wealth for your family and for your future. Because there's so many people that I help when it comes to their finances that they're sick and tired of this financial stress on them, on their marriage, on their families, on their kids, having instability, uncertainty. Well, if that sounds like you and you're dealing with some of this, I'm going to help you. Because it's time to make a turnaround, right? It's time to get rid of excuses and get straight to action so we can build a better future. Now, this is about taking control of your debt and really beginning to boost your savings so that way we can generate a healthy wealth for you and your family. See, the average personal debt, and this is excluding mortgages, okay? Really write this number down. Think about this. $38,000 of debt. This is excluding mortgage. Okay, this is what people are dealing with, the average personal debt. The savings rate is hitting rock bottom. So this really shows that the message is clear, that it's time for change, right? If the average personal debt is $38,000 and that's not including mortgage. So let's get into three things here that's going to help you to attack this debt in your life and, get some traction here. So the three things that we're going to be going over is one is debt demolishing, like to demolish your debt, to attack and eliminate. Number two is to explode your savings. I mean, savings is good, and it's a certain type of savings that I'm going to be sharing with you. And this is how you can begin to grow your savings aggressively, okay? Number three, your mindset mastery. See, if you can want money, but if your mindset is not in agreement, you're not going to attract that money. You're not going to attract opportunity. In fact, if you have the wrong mindset, you can blind yourself to even seeing opportunity or things that are there for you to be able to bring more wealth. So we're going to learn how to cultivate a more wealth-focused mindset. So number one, let's get into this first one here, okay? This is about demolishing, getting rid of the debt that is destroying your life. So let's destroy what's destroying your life. Let's destroy what's holding you back. And this is debt. See, debt is something especially because there's good debt and there's bad debt. If you have good debt that's maybe into your business, it's something that's generating it, and you can end up catching up to where you're now in the green. There's a good debt that you can leverage if it's working for you, right? If it's going to at some point get out of the red into the green to where you're making money, that's where there is a good debt. But if there is a debt that has compound interest, Mr. Compound Interest working against you and not for you to build, then it's destroying you. Okay, so with interest piling up daily, every moment is more debt, and this is more strikes against you and your financial freedom. So don't have Mr. Debt working against you. You got to have Mr. Debt working for you to create some leverage of how to generate more income for yourself. So let's get out of debt. So now here are some simple steps for you to start getting some movement here, okay? So if you need to, do this exercise, if you need to pause me, then do it, because remember, I want to make it very simple, because if it's complicated, if I give you all the details about stocks and bonds and compound interest, the rule of 72, and the different types of variable accounts that you can put your money in, if we get into detail, it's going to be too much, too confusing. I want to make it very simple. If you're dealing with debt, you need to make some very smart and strategic steps to get out, especially if you have people who are depending on you. Then this is a serious topic. So I'm going to give you three simple things that you can start taking action on when it comes to you demolishing your debt. Number one is prioritize and attack. You got to get aggressive on this debt, because this debt is destroying you. So you got to demolish the debt. So you list your debts. How are we going to prioritize and attack debt? So first, make a list. Get a list of all the different things that you owe, the debt that you have. Just make a list. And the highest interest first. Even if you make that list and kind of number them after, that's okay. That way you don't get stopped and don't get blocked. Just write down all the different things that you have that are debt. And then you can start writing next to it. Okay, what's the interest on each of these things on my list here? And then I can number each of those things on my list. Okay, out of this list, here's the interest right here next to all of them. I have it all there, right? So that way you can have clarity, because I want to prioritize and attack. So now I can see, okay, this one has the most. This is number one. This one has the second. Now I know everything that I owe on, but I also know what has the highest interest, because now I can begin to prioritize and attack. See, every payment above the minimum goes here to the highest priority. This is a non-negotiable. So you want to go there so that way you can begin to eliminate, because if you're constantly paying the minimum, that they do that on purpose to keep you paying longer. So that way they squeeze the most money out of you and you're profitable for them. The longer you stay. So if you're constantly paying the minimum, that's the best for them. That's why they highlight it on your invoices, on your payment stubs. When they send it to you, do you notice this? Because you can pay more than the minimum. You know that, right? But if you look at the invoice, they market, they promote, they get your attention to say, here's the minimum that you need to pay. Just pay the minimum. Come on. Here's some candy. Come here. That's what this is. Like they're luring you in to trap you by saying, you know what, just come in at this lowest premium, because again, this is going to hook you in for a longer period of time. So they have the interest working on their part and destroying yours. So number one, prioritize and begin to attack, right? Number two, expense warfare. What are your expenses right now? Okay, so now we got, the things that I have debt, I prioritized it. Now I'm going to attack the ones that have the highest interest rate first, so I can start to eliminate one by one. Number two, where am I spending? Because I need to get rid of some of my spending. I can't have no mercy. I got to be brutally honest with myself here, because this is essential. Actually, if it's not essential, you got to get rid of it. It's essential to get rid of the non-essentials, right? So the things that you're spending money on, the things that you're, putting your hard-earned money on that's not essential for at least a period of time till you're out of debt, you need to cut those things out. Funnel every saved penny into your debts, so that way we can get Mr. Interest to be on your side working for you every holiday, every night while you're sleeping. Right? Mr. Interest doesn't take any days off, whether working for you or against you. So we got to slash our spending so that way we can put more money into the debt to get rid of that, because we're getting charged the interest rate, and that is what's messing you up. All right. So number three, now we need to negotiate everything. So you have to learn some skills on how to negotiate. Now that you have all your priorities, you know how much debt is here, you're cutting down, what you're spending. Now we need to see how we can lower our interest rates on credit cards. We can consolidate our loans. If this means, paying less in interest, then do it. We need to do something to negotiate to get our interest lower, even if we need to consolidate, whatever we need to do to begin to lower it. Because again, Mr. Interest is ruthless. Like Mr. Interest will take you out and not ask any questions, not care, doesn't care if you have family, doesn't care if you have dreams for your future. Mr. Interest is very non-emotional and just wants to hey, give me the money that you owe me. You said just on agreements. So you want him on your side. So we need to learn how to negotiate everything and get out of this interest rate really quick. So figure out what are your interest rates? How can I consolidate? How can I get my interest to be as low as I can? This is where you need to start pushing in. So when you have your debt that's now, retreating, right? It's backing up. You're getting out of this debt. Now we need to go and fuel our finances. And that's the next part of this. Okay, so we attack debt. Now we need to focus on some saving, right? So this is where we need to create that financial net for peace of mind, especially if you're a parent, if you have somebody who is depending on you. You want to have some savings there again. And this is not a savings like a lot of people think, okay, you have to have this much savings for emergency. No, we rather have our money working for us. So if you are going to have some savings, make sure you're putting it into an account where the savings is accumulating. Not in an account don't save in your bank, okay? If you're saving in your bank, you're putting your money into this account that's giving you not even 0.5%. It's giving you 0.008%, not even 0.5%. Think about that. So it's going to take a long time for that interest to give you anything in return. We don't want it in a regular account in your bank that's giving you not even 1%. We want to put our money into things that are giving us 10%, things that are giving us 5%. And this is how we start to really grow your savings. Okay, but we need to start off somewhere, right? We need first one foot, then the other. Like, where do we start when it comes to savings? Something very practical. So saving even 10% of your income can seriously transform your financial future in less than a year. But if you start to push beyond that, it really starts to change things. Now, if you can start at 5%, then start there. Start somewhere. 5%, if you can start giving 5% of your income, putting it into another savings account that's accumulating, now we start to get some explosion when it comes to your savings, but you had to start somewhere. So can you do 5%? Can you do 10%? Start to put that into your family future fund, right? Into your savings where it's going to grow. Then you can push beyond that. So here's some simple things that you can do when it comes to you beginning to explode the savings, okay? Number one, automate and dominate. Automate to dominate. So you want to set up some things that are automatic, especially because if we see it here, we're not going to, it hurts more to like, okay, I'm going to save this now. But if you automate it, if you automate to dominate, you can set up where you have these transfers, automatic transfers to your savings on payday. So that way it hurts less, right? 20% can be, or 10%, 20%, whatever you mark it at. Now all of a sudden every month it goes straight into that account and it starts to accumulate for you. But the fact that you automate is a very powerful thing when it comes to you beginning to really save and be consistent there. Number two, have some kind of lifestyle adjustment. You might need to be able to do this for just a short period of time. Maybe it's for a year, maybe it's 2 years, but you and your family need to talk about this. Where can we downgrade? And it's not that we're going backwards. It's just that we're holding back right now so we can get out of debt, so we can start to save, so we can start to get some bigger momentum. So it's not about going backwards financially. It's about getting some stronger foundation so we can grow bigger and faster. So downgrade where you can. Maybe it's a smaller living space, an older car, not getting a newer one, home cooked meals, right? Things that will cut funds that you don't really need. So that way that money can go into these other places, getting out of debt, into the savings, accumulating for your cash. So that way 5-10 years from now, what you're doing now, the seeds you're planting now is something big. That's a huge blessing for your family, for your future financially. Number three, maximize your returns. So don't settle for this like pathetic, weak interest rates like the bank, like I told you, right? Like don't work so hard for your money and then go put it into your bank account where they're not giving you anything in return. Like don't settle. Shop around. Find different accounts that will produce more money for you, because every extra cent counts. It begins to grow over time. So now that we have savings on the rise, okay, now we're doing these things. Now I'm starting to get a stronger foundation. I want to stay consistent here. I don't want to give up, Richard. I don't want to, because I started to gain before, and then I get comfortable and I default to where I was before, and then my family starts to struggle, my finances start to struggle again because I'm not consistent. And this is where we're getting to the last part of this. Your mindset. We got to get some money mindset mastery here, because there's so many people who they get out of debt, they start to save, right? And they start to get some momentum. They start to get some control in their lives when it comes to their financial situation. And they start to get comfortable because their mindset is not focused. They don't have the right mindset. They start to give up and they go back to where they were before. So I don't want that to happen to you. So let's build your mindset when it comes to building and sustaining wealth. See, your financial success is as much about your mindset as it is about action. So it's time to really think like the wealthy, right? So I'm gonna give you 3 things here. Number 1, educate constantly. Educate yourself. Learn, like I always tell people, like when it comes to learning, I'm a nerd. Like I'm serious about my learning, reading, taking courses, going to programs, getting coaches, getting mentorship, masterminds, things that I'm gonna get so I can get an idea. Because that one idea, that one thing, that one adjustment, that one pivot can change so many things in your life. So I'm always just learning, right? So be a learner. Have consistent education for yourself. Invest in financial education, books, courses, seminars. Make knowledge a weapon for you, especially when it comes to the financial game. It's going to be hard to win a game you don't even know how to play. It's going to be hard to win a game that you don't even know the rules of. So you have to be somebody who is constantly educating themselves, especially because the financial industry, some things change. So we have to keep learning. So number one, educate consistently. Number two, surround yourself with success. I mean, you've heard this many times, but have you done something about it? Where you're going to become like the 5 people you're around the most, you're going to become like, right? You've heard so many things how, a bad company can corrupt good character. How the people you surround yourself have a big impact and influence on your quality of life, your level of success. So surround yourself with success. Your circle of influences need to be people who are striving for bigger things. Especially if you can get people who have a higher, net worth, who are wealthier, and you start to network around those people, you start to see how they live, start to see how they talk, how they carry themselves, where they spend their time. All of a sudden, like you'll start to see these clues and start to get some wisdom. It's like it's like an impartation, right? Instead of just information where you're just learning and reading, you're watching, you're surrounding yourself with them, and it's like this knowledge, this energy, this mindset is imparted to you because you see their habits and behaviors. So surround yourself with success. And the last thing is set goals that are big. Dream. Don't just go off of the SMART goals, the specific, measurable, attainable, realistic. You don't want to start your goals with attainable and realistic. Like you want to think big and dream big because I want to go somewhere big and then I can start to get other people to help me, right? But I want to set ambitious goals. See, when it comes to the money mindset, not only do you want to dream big and think big, but you want to define clear, challenging financial targets. And you want to break them down into these actionable steps and then not only break them down so that way it's not so overwhelming, but that way you start to do and then review it and then adjust and then pivot and then you optimize, but you have to keep reviewing these things, but you need to have these clear goals. So this is when it comes to money mindset. You want to educate yourself, keep growing, surround yourself with people who are the same, and have clear goals for yourself when it comes to your financial life. So take this plan and run with it. Don't look back. Don't start to default to what you're doing before. It's time to get serious for your finances, for your finances, for your future, for your family. So let's start to put this into action. Yes? Is that a deal? So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Comment if you have questions about this, if you have any other topics that you want me to speak on when it comes to finances or any other area. Make sure you guys comment below, subscribe, like. And if you guys need help with a consultation, I can share with you different products on how to protect your income, how to grow your income, savings accounts that are producing an average of 8 to 12% that are producing this. So I can connect you to the right, I can show you the numbers, I can teach you. So if you're looking for a free consultation, message me and we can set it up, okay? So I appreciate you, bless you, and let's get some financial freedom.